Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us today for this 9th meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for Thou art the source of all authority. And may we use in our directives for the common good and for Thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
I am here. And just for the benefit of our audience, Commissioner Young is dealing with a bit of a sore throat today, so if you have a challenge hearing him, please just let us know and we'll be happy to accommodate repeating or whatever is needed. But Commissioner Young is, again, still engaged and doing his job, so thank you for that. Let's see, we have before us the regular meeting minutes of February 11, 2021, February 18, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve same, waiving reading thereof?
So moved.
It's been regularly moved and seconded. Any comments? Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion. Do we have anyone in our audience wishing to address the board at this time? Yes, sir. Mr. Massey, if you please come to the microphone. I think this might be the first time you've been in this new building.
Yes, it is. Nice digs, I would say.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So is this what 40 million buys us? Is that correct?
No, significantly less than. I think we're under 30, actually.
Very good.
And that was the out-the-door price. How am I doing on that? Is that pretty close there, Jason? I'm getting a positive nod there from our administrator.
Okay, great. Before I start, first I should introduce myself. My name is Brian Massey. I live at 8196 Rainbow Drive, Concord Township. Been a long time Lake County resident. Before I start, I'd like to say to Commissioner Young, I want him to know that we are praying for his speedy and complete recovery from his illness.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. We have an online newspaper. It's called LobbyistForCitizens.com. And our mission is to uphold the truth, transparency, and integrity at all levels of government. We expose the lies, deceptions, and betrayals regardless of political party. We're a huge proponent of Ohio's Open Meeting Act and Public Records Law. Holding elected officials and bureaucrats accountable is vital to our constitutional republic. I'm here today to discuss the Lake County Visitors Bureau. I've been following and researching the antics of the Visitors Bureau for several years. I must first give you and the watching public a little history. I was originally asked by the former director of the Visitors Bureau, Scott Dacus, to help him expose the inappropriate conduct of the Visitors Bureau and the Lake County Port Authority and the Lake County Commissioners. That meeting has led me to spend tremendous amount of time and effort learning all about Lake County government and the Visitors Bureau. Several years ago, the then Commissioner, Jerry Serino, expressed that he believed that there should be more accountability and transparency in the Visitors Bureau. He had the number of board members reduced from 7 to 5, appointed as political consultant Amy Sabbath to the board of directors, with 3 of the 5 board members being appointed by the commissioners, thereby giving the commissioners indirect control. She was then Ms. Sabbath was subsequently elected as the board president. LFC filed a records request with Ms. Sabbath and was told in no uncertain terms that they are a private body not subject to the Ohio meeting laws and public records laws. Mr. Dacus told me about a budget meeting between the Visitors Bureau and the Lake County Commissioners. I tried to attend that meeting, but Commissioner Sereno kicked me out of the meeting because, quote, nothing was going to be discussed in the meeting. So I say to you, so much for openness and transparency. The Visitors Bureau is registered with the IRS as a 501c6 nonprofit, a private body. A requirement of their nonprofit status is that they must receive support from dues-paying members. Through the legal process known as discovery, we learned that they do not have dues-paying members, and the overwhelming majority of their revenue comes from the taxpayers through the hotel bed tax. In an attempt to get current information on the Visitors Bureau, we tried to determine if they currently now have dues-paying members and what are the revenue and expenditures of the Visitors Bureau. We sent a records request to Jason Boyd, the county administrator, and he sent us a schedule of the hotel tax receipts and disbursements maintained by the county finance or budget director. From those records, we saw that over $1 million was distributed annually from the hotel tax. I was informed that the county does not have any financial information about the total revenues and expenditures of the Visitors Bureau. We then came to the obvious conclusion that they are a private body receiving significant funding from the taxpayers, and they are accountable to no one. The lack of accountability was reinforced by the Visitors Bureau lawyer, Mr. Jeff Ruppel, at the board meeting in February when he mentioned that the Visitors Bureau has created new bylaws and declared that the Visitors Bureau is a self-governing body. Ruppel suggested that the commissioners change the wording in the resolution that appointed 3 board members to merely recommendations, that the board will consider their recommendations but are not bound by them. He left no doubt that the commissioners merely pass through the taxpayer money to the Visitors Bureau, and then as a self-governing body, the Visitors Bureau can do as they please with the money. Commissioners, that attitude and conduct of the Visitors Bureau is not acceptable to the citizens of Lake County. There is no way that the citizens will permit a private body to flaunt the IRS laws, takes taxpayers' funds, and then tell the commissioners and the citizens that the Visitors Bureau will never be accountable to anyone. As we see it, the commissioners have 3 options. They can allow the Visitors Bureau to continue not being accountable to you and the taxpayers. You can stop all funding to the Visitors Bureau and let them survive on their membership dues and other membership support as mandated by the IRS regulations. You can create another Visitors Bureau that is under the direction of the commissioners and subject to the Ohio Sunshine Laws. Trying to work with the current structure in order to provide transparency may work in the short term. However, we can see that the Visitors Bureau is a rather fluid operation that changes the number of board members quite frequently. We have been informed that they are contemplating changing the number of board members from 7 to 9. Unless the commissioners address the foundational problem of the Visitors Bureau, namely their private versus public body status, we run the risk of incremental changes over the years of them reverting back to their arrogant attitude of not being accountable to the people. Thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you, sir. Well, you raised a number of thoughts and issues that I think fall into the purview of legal. Mr. Hackman, is there anything you wanted to comment on or add to, sir?
Well, I guess I would like to start out with this, Mr. Massey. I absolutely respect your right to bring these attentions to the public. Quite frankly, I commend you for them. And I'd say that having been the object of some of your critiques in the past, which is fine. You referenced Commissioner Sereno. I don't recall the exact words, but my take of it was that he was controlling the Visitors Bureau. As you know, as you alluded to, it's a private, nonprofit corporation. This Board of Commissioners has no control over the Visitors Bureau. It's a private corporation. As you bring out in your statement, they have their own attorney, Mr. Rupel. You referenced the meeting that took place where you were not allowed, or you were asked to leave that meeting, and that is in litigation. So I hope you can appreciate. I'm not going to comment on that. That's currently pending in the 11th District Court of Appeals, the trial court, having dismissed your case there. It's now in the 11th Circuit District. Let's wait and see that. As far as the options for the Visitors Bureau, first of all, with respect to withholding money from the bed tax collected, this Board of Commissioners is not allowed to. And I don't have the statute in front of me, but it basically says if there is a 3% bed tax in place, money collected for that shall be given to the Visitors Bureau Visitors and Conventions Bureau, I think it is, operating within the county, and the emphasis on the word shall. I do agree 100% with your feeling and contention that there should be transparency as to how that money is spent. I can't speak to it from the Visitors Bureau's perspective. Are there options with regard to what could happen down the road? I believe you are. I know you're correct. It could be a county department. There could be another nonprofit Visitors Bureau formed that would be, again, under Title 17, over which this board would not have control other than, I agree, that money should, how are we spending that money and where is it being spent? And I'm not privy to all the discussions that go on with the members of the Visitors Bureau. However, I agree with you. That should be something that should be out there in the light. If it's $1 million a year, like you say, Mr. Boyd indicated in the public records response, it's a lot of money. If it was $1 a year, it should be accounted for.
Yeah, I don't find us in disagreement very much here.
So I guess all I can say is, again, Commissioner Sereno, then Commissioner Sereno, this present board of Lake County Commissioners cannot dictate to a private corporation, which this Visitors Bureau is, how to amend their bylaws, what to put in them. There's no control over that.
If I may, Mr. Hackman, that is the basic foundational problem. That's the basic foundational problem that I'm talking about. You cannot just give taxpayer money to a private body without any accountability. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense at all.
That's what the law provides, but there should be accountability from the Visitors Bureau as to how that money is spent. I think we're on the same page.
Okay, we agree.
Again, I appreciate your First Amendment rights to speak on these issues, but I have to emphasize for this Board of Lake County Commissioners and any former Lake County Commissioners, they do not have control over a private entity's board. And the statute, and again, I think it's under Title 53, it specifically speaks to the bed tax money coming in and shall be given to the Visitors Bureau, Visitors and Conventions Bureau, operating within the county.
As they say in the legal profession, I rest my case. Thank you.
Gentlemen, speaking for myself, I want to thank both of you for your candor and the decorum that you both just demonstrated. That is truly appreciated on a sensitive discussion such as this. So thank you both for all that you do. Okay, moving on. Do we have anyone else in the audience wishing to address the board? Okay, looking to our County Administrator, Jason Boyd. Do we have any submissions via electronic means? We do. Please come.
Morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. We have one public comment submitted digitally this morning by Ellen Chamberlain. I'll begin to enter. For the record, last March, the Commissioners requested that departments trim their budgets by 5%. What adjustments have since been needed to be made in the current budget? Were any funds able to be returned to the departments as revenue collection improved? Thank you, Ellen Chamberlain Willoughby.
Ooh, such a modest question with such a big answer that goes behind that. Do you want to take a swing at that?
Yeah, and I'm happy to have Mr. Matus, we can give
more
Ms.
detail,
Chamberlain
yeah.
a call.
Which I
But
think
basically,
the
as everyone
details
knows, with the pandemic last year, beginning in the summer, we asked for a 5% reduction in all budgets, which technically equated to about a 10% budget over, because it was only
Annual.
6 months of the year on an annual basis. And with the pending uncertainties still with a number of our revenue streams, be it investment earnings, property tax collections, casino revenues, permits and fees, and so on, we've kind of held the line on that flatline budgeting for 2021. And to answer her question, were any funds returned to the departments? I think the simple answer to that is no at this point in time, as we still, as you know, Mr. Matus is very conservative in his estimates on both the revenue and expenditure side.
Now, I think it'd be fair to say, though, and this would be something Mr. Matus could address directly, there may have been some case by case, which may be what Ms. Chamberlain is looking for, but overall, from a global perspective, we held the line based on the 5%.
That is correct,
looking
Commissioner.
forward.
Thank you. That's the end of the public.
Could we tap Mike on the shoulder and maybe have him come to our next meeting and give some commentary on that?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Ellen, for your question. Much appreciated. Was there anything else there, Jason, or was that the only one? Okay, indicating that was the only one. Okay, we're going to do a little change up on our order of resolutions. We have with us today, I'm always terrible with pronunciations and stuff, and it's always best to just look and read. So we have Alfie Roman. She is with the Deepwood, and we have Mr. Charlie Schultz and Mary Schultz with us here today. And we are going to move resolution item number 13 up to the number 1 slot. So if we could move on that, and then I believe we have a video possibly that we've got the technology worked out on. So we want to move the resolution up, and or do we want to jump in and Madam, see who really runs this meeting is actually the clerk. My job is just not screw it up. So.
Yeah, if you would like, we can have them do the presentation.
That'd be
and then
great.
We can go
Sure.
into the resolution.
There you go. Okay, so the floor is yours. Mike, you ready over there with the technology? Excellent. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to support the resolution for Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Each year, Ohio celebrates in March all the many accomplishments and skills and attributes of the people that we serve through the Lake County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Our commissioners have always been extremely supportive of our activities, events, and the mission of our agency. Specifically, President Hamercheck loves our science fair, Broadmoor Science Fair, and graduation, always present, always very interactive and supportive of our programs. Commissioner Young has invited us to be part of Constitution Day, having our dance team present and different individuals present for that wonderful event. Last year in March 1st, we kicked off Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, as we always do, with a whole slew of activities throughout the month, events, activities, special events, including our climax event, which is Deepwood Idol, that the commissioners join us all as a panel of judges, a very difficult task every year. So last year we kicked off the events, the month on March 1st, with a very special event with my colleague, Charlie Schultz, who was living the dream. And his dream of employment was to be a bartender. And Charlie had been working at Ballantyne's in downtown Willoughby for quite some time. And Ballantyne's knew about Charlie's dream, and they said, well, we can make that happen. So we've had that event on March 1st. There was no place to park, 4 deep, standing in line to get to Charlie, who was mixing a special Charlie drink for the day. And so that was like just a wonderful event. And every year we come up with new events, new ideas, and we had a whole slew of them planned last year. Okay, so March 1st, that happens. The very next day, we're shut down. So last year, we were kind of scrambling, trying to decide how to celebrate the month. This year, we're a little more prepared with all of our virtual events. And so we are going to recreate some of the events we do annually, including our art contest, which will be done virtually, and we have invitations for the commissioners to be judges for our virtual art contest this year. We have virtual Read Across America. We have all types of virtual book clubs and events to learn more about developmental disabilities and the people that we serve. This past year, though, we all developed a lot of new community connections or enhanced connections. The Lake County Board of Deepwood has always been very fortunate to have the support of so many of our community organizations, and this year was no different. Although we celebrated enhanced connections with the Lake County General Health District, with Lake Hospital, with the Emergency Operations Center, connections that we had, but they really helped us get through the crisis. And I'm so proud to say that the individuals we served, their families, have been maintained with great safety, health, and their programs and services and supports continuing throughout the pandemic. So what I have first is a video to show that we developed as a thank you, celebrating our community connections.
Silent movie.
I don't think so.
There we go. Mike, can you crank the volume up a bit for Commissioner Young? Can you bring the volume up a bit, please? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
again, our commissioners have been extremely supportive of our events, and we hope that you'll be engaged with our virtual events, and that next year we'll all be back together doing our in-person events. But I also wanted to give a few minutes to two of our greatest ambassadors. And our community connections are created by our families and the individuals we serve. And Charlie Schultz is here. He is an individual who is well known throughout our community with his many excellent job placements. Currently, Charlie works at the Title Bureau, and so he's a public servant as well. And our parents also being great advocates. So I'd like to introduce Mary Schultz, parent and advocate, and Charlie Schultz, one of our greatest ambassadors for our public relations.
Magnificent. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mary Schultz. This is
Excuse me, but my phone's been acting up, but I'm back now.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Thank you.
This is my son, Charlie. We live at 20 East Shore in Timberlake. I always like to tell this story, when Charlie was born 35 years ago, he was born at a hospital in Cuyahoga County. It was Euclid Hospital. And after we found out that he had Down syndrome, the head of the pediatric group that the family went to, he's the youngest of 5, came in and said, first thing he said was, "You live in Lake County, don't you?" And I said, "Yes, we do. We've always, our whole married life, lived in Timberlake." And he said, "You are very lucky." Well, 35 years later, I can tell you, we are very lucky. Right from the beginning, with early intervention and Broadmoor, and all of the help we got through the 169 board with Deepwood was wonderful and continues to this day. He's part of Community Employment Services. One of his work sites now is the Lake County Title Bureau. And he has been there for what, how many years? How many years have you been there, honey? 5 years, really. It just, time flies when we're having this much fun. He absolutely loves it. The hardest probably time in his 35 years was the time when everything was shut down.
Sure.
And so we were holding our breath there a few months ago when they closed to outsiders, and he was included. So we are just so thankful for Lake County. And Charlie knows the joke is, if he would have to go to live with one of his siblings, where do you have to live? Where? Can you live with Ann or Maureen? No, because they don't live in Lake County. He knows. Yeah, and we always talk about that, and we joke about, I joke about moving, and he'll say, "Remember, Mom, Lake County." It's like, we won't forget that, ever. No, we are so very, very thankful.
Well, it's a beautiful testimony. Thank you.
Thank you all.
So honored that we could be of service. Wow. Ah.
Oh.
Thank you. He's on the phone.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you. No, appreciate that presentation. That is truly a great testimony, and good to get that kind of information out there to the public. So thank you for putting the time into that video and sharing it with us. And it's a tremendous setup for our resolution. Excellent call, Madam Clerk, as always. So thank you, ma'am. If there's nothing further to add to that, why don't we go right to our resolution, then we can have our comment section there.
Sure. And special resolutions, resolution recognizing March 2021 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And discussion. So, gentlemen, now's your chance to chime in on the fine work that our friends are doing here.
Mr. President, if I could just say, I've been to Deepwood Idol several times, and it's just an extraordinary presentation. You can really see the love and the community that you build. So I want to second what Charlie said. There's no place I would want to live other than Lake County either, because we are a family and a community, and I think that Deepwood really embodies that in the most significant way. My mother, her career was teaching blind and deaf children, and each of us faces different challenges, but it's not about what life throws at you. It's about how you come back and how you work through it. And so I have the greatest admiration for Deepwood and for you, Charlie, and the work that you're doing for us as a public servant in the Title Bureau. So thank you so much for serving Lake County in addition to being a resident of Lake County. I would only add as well, I know the difficulties of COVID-19 have impacted everyone differently, but I got to see Deepwood up close when our incoming Lake County Treasurer, Mike Zurin, and Timberlake Councilwoman Sherry Falkenberg said, well, we need to work with Deepwood to have Christmas in July. And they asked me to come along because they said, we're going to have a Santa, but we need a puppy too. So my dog Beamer got to visit and see all of you. Of course, COVID safe. We were behind a fence. But to see the hard work that Deepwood went to bring cheer to everyone and to make sure that even in the hardest time, we came together as a family in Lake County. I gotta say, I am really grateful for the hard work you're all doing together, and we're all doing together, so that even in the toughest times, we remember we're a family.
Fantastic. Now, I know Commissioner Young is fighting a sore throat, so if I may, Commissioner Young, talk about your inclusion of the Deepwood folks with Constitution Day. That was quite an impressive event, and I believe it would be safe to say a good time was had by all. Is that pretty reasonable, sir?
Yeah, that's very reasonable. They played a huge role in our Constitution Day event. And I just want to say that I think a measure of a people in many ways could be taken by how they treat those most in need, and perhaps those that have so little, at least in a material sense, to give back. And I believe that's the case here in Lake County. And just as Commissioner Pleshnik said, that it's a clear indication of family, of love, and just community togetherness that we see here in Lake County. So I'm so glad Deepwood is there to hold up that banner, and just want to say thank you.
Bless you. Thank you, sir. And I'll just say I echo your sentiments regarding our young scientists. Their projects and passion, it's impressive, and it's truly inspirational. I still remember fondly the one young man who was talking about elements. Oh my goodness, when he got down to atomic structure, that was pretty impressive. So it's humbling. I'm just looking at the last whereas here. Whereas the Lake County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Deepwood, hosts a variety of events that promote and celebrate Awareness Month, including the Broadmoor Bobcats basketball games, which, by the way, as elected officials, we were supposed to have a beat down put upon us. The things that just had to be canceled there, but we do have a placeholder there, so that our shame will come when we are beaten by the Bobcats. In fact, I believe the Bobcats are undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, and there's a wall of shame of every team that has dared to challenge them, that their jerseys are upon the wall. So you guys, you got quite a reputation going there. So you have basketball games. Let's see, we've got art shows, chili cook-off, the Deepwood Idol, where performers show off their talents. Let's see, you've got the Strides of March, which is a 5K run walk, and many other activities. The Lake County Board of Developmental Disabilities sponsors numerous outreach programs to raise public consciousness and support the many community partnerships that keep individuals with disabilities fully engaged, supported, and productive in our society. So, wow, I'm humbled, but I'm honored to be able to serve and work with the entire organization. If there are no further comments, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. And if we may, if we could get some photos, our friend Commissioner Young will be joining us virtually here, so just use your imagination. But Commissioner Plechnik, would you care to step down onto the level and we'll present this to our friends? On behalf of the Board of Lake County Commissioners, it is my sincere honor to present you with this recognition. So thank you so very much. And the cameras, of course.
Congratulations.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as always, you're welcome to continue to stay with us, or if you want to beat feet, we understand. That's usually the... Oh, got to go to work. There we go. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today. And hugs all the way around. Good thing to see. There we go. Bye-bye now. Okay, Madam Clerk, moving on to our next resolution.
In the Utilities Department, resolution transferring appropriations and cash from the Lake County Department of Utilities Project Fund 596 to the Sewer Operating Fund. The project is complete and the cash in the project fund is reduced to zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Project Fund 576 to the Water Operating Fund. The project is complete and the cash in the project fund is reduced to zero.
Moved.
Move to approve?
Okay, I believe I just heard it regularly moved and seconded. Discussion? I see, Randy, it looks like you're returning $71,745.47. I think that's worth commenting on.
Sure, yeah. Anytime we do a project, we appropriate funds at the beginning of the project to pay for the consultant to begin the design, and then as we enter a contract with the excavator, the contractor, we transfer money into that fund to appropriate that fund to complete the project. And when the project's over, any leftover money or any over appropriation, I guess you could say, is transferred back. And we always put a little bit extra in there in case something comes up during construction, or and also if construction comes in a little bit less than what we expected, we're able to transfer that back into our general operating funds for the next project.
Well done. Thank you for being such a good steward. Is there further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid sewer and water sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Central Communications Division and the City of Painesville for central dispatch and communication services for the city and its police and fire departments.
Move to approve?
Second.
Very good. Discussion? Jason, did you want to elaborate on this for benefit of all?
Thank you, Commissioners. This request is put forth on behalf of Sheriff Leon Bruno. Basically, what you have in front of you is a 3-year contract with the City of Painesville to perform their dispatching services for their police and fire departments at our Lake County Emergency Operations Center. Contract is for 2021 through 2024. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution reappointing Ryan K. Callender to the Lakeland Community College Board of Trustees for a 5-year term expiring March 6, 2026.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion? I'll just comment that Ryan Callender has been a longtime member of the Lakeland College Board family, and I believe he is now their board president, so he is in a definite leadership role there. Just wanted to acknowledge that. If there's no further comments, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution appointing Janet Ruth Majka to the Lakeland Community College Board of Trustees for a 5-year term expiring March 6, 2026.
Move to approve?
Second.
And discussion, I believe it's pronounced Micah?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I would have to add under comments, I think that Jan is, those of us who know or recall her, would be a tremendous asset and addition to the Lakeland Board family, and she is with us here today. I suppose we could introduce her under the comments, or we can praise her, assuming that this would be approved. I'm kind of looking over to legal here. We can play it either way, or
Go either way, Commissioner.
well, why don't we get the formalities out of the way, and then we can hopefully be singing her praises here in a moment. So, if there's no other comments leading up to that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay. Now that we got the official stuff out of the way, Jan, would you care to come forward and we could introduce you to the world as the newest member of the Lakeland Board, the Lakeland Community College Board? Jan, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioners Plechnik, Hammercheck, and Commissioner Young. My prayers are also with you as you're at home, Commissioner Young.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just want to thank you all for considering me for this position. My experience formally as an educator, it came later in life. I've been teaching and received my master's degree in education over the last 10 years. And I am currently teaching more in middle school, high school situations, but to an at-risk and underserved population most of the time. So I bring that into the mixture of higher education. I did attend Lakeland Community College back in its early days and had a real great experience there doing most of my undergrad work there. So it's kind of like coming full circle now to then be on the board, and I'm excited to learn where Lakeland is heading now and what I can do to be of assistance, and just excited in general. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Your credentials are impeccable. I don't think that's an overstatement. And what has impressed me the most about you on an ongoing basis, and what I look forward to, is your true servant's heart. Your commitment to service is unparalleled. You are truly a blessing, and I do not say this lightly. You will be a true addition to the Lakeland family, and that's a blessing for all of us. Commissioners,
Thank
do
you.
you want to chime in here? Now, let's not cause a workers' comp thing here by patting her on the back too much, but Commissioner Plechnik, Commissioner Young?
Mr. President, if I could say, speaking of full circles, it's just such a wonderful moment today to congratulate our newest trustee for Lakeland, because she's a former colleague on Willoughby Hills City Council, and I can say firsthand that as a member of any council or board or trusteeship, there's no one I trust more to lead us than trustee than Councilwoman Janet Micah. No one worked harder for our residents. No one took the job more seriously. And when some people were more interested in fighting, Jan did nothing but work hard for her neighbors and her residents. I'm reminded of one meeting when she didn't join us for dinner because she got a call from a resident who literally lost control of a particular farm animal. And Councilwoman Micah literally helped this family bring them home because no call was too unimportant. No issue was beneath her attention. She worked hard for everyone. And so while she has a brilliant resume and she's eminently qualified to be a trustee at Lakeland, what I value the most about Jan is how much she cares about our community. And I have every confidence that she's going to bring our local college to the highest standards because of the fact she cares so much about her alma mater, her community. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, congratulations, Madam Trustee. No one deserves this more, but I'm even more excited for Lake County and Lakeland Community College because you'll bring great leadership there.
Thank you so much. And I just have to say, even though the temperature is very cold outside, I'm going to be carrying the warmth of all that all week. Thank you so much.
Bless you. Commissioner Young, did you want to add anything, sir?
Well, I just want to say briefly that what's always impressed me the most about Janet is that smile. That it's so energetic and enlivening, and you can just sense the energy there. But not just randomized energy, but energy to be focused and applied. And in Janet's case, applied to our community, to our people. And that coupled with her intelligence and her drive, we have a real winner there. Excellent choice.
Oh, bless you,
Welcome,
sir.
Janet.
Thank you, Commissioner Young.
Well, now I have to follow this up. Now, that smile, the world needs to see memorialized, but even with the mask, you can see it in your eyes. So maybe we get a photo together? You open to that? Commissioner Pleshnik? I think, Kathy still have our camera? Does she, uh-oh, hang on. This is that impromptu moment here.
I'll get it. I'll send it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you.
Let's get that good Lake County logo behind you guys. Oh, there we go. All right. Thank you.
One more. Thank you.
A round of applause for the newest trustee.
And of course, the one time our deputy clerk steps out, that's when we call upon her to take a picture. So. little behind the scenes humor there. So. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, next agenda item, please.
Resolution accepting and approving the recommendation of Commissioner John Plechnik to designate Randy Van Buren to serve as his alternate on the Lake County Planning Commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
And discussion.
Mr. President, if I may say, Mr. Van Buren has already served our county with great distinction as Commissioner Sereno's alternate on the Planning Commission. He comes to us highly recommended from Painesville Township trustee Chuck Hillier, and he served on their Board of Zoning Appeals in Painesville Township for some time as well. So he brings both local and countywide experience to the role, and I'm honored that he's willing to continue his service representing me as my alternate on the Planning Commission. So I would be grateful for our Board of Commissioners' support in helping Mr. Van Buren to continue to serve our county.
Fantastic. Thank you. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. And Randy, since you're with us today, would you care to say a few words and At this point, since we seem to be getting photos with everybody, maybe we'll impose upon you.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Young, Commissioner Hamercheck, and Commissioner Plechnik. I'm honored to be here and honored to accept that position and continue that role as I served Lake County under former Commissioner Serino, and I look forward to serving under Commissioner Plechnik as well. It's something that I've always enjoyed doing, is volunteering my time in local governments. I'm also on the Board of Trustees. I formerly served as the Finance Committee Chair for our 529 home HOA, and so I do look forward to continuing this position as well. And so again, once again, I'm honored to accept that position and happy to be part of Lake County and supporting Lake County and its residents.
Exceptional. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Young, Commissioner Plechnik, anything you want to add? Okay.
No, I'm nothing at this point.
Excellent. Photo? Hey, as long as we're taking pictures today, right? Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Andrews.
Now, the inside baseball story is every time we do one of these photos, our legal has to get up and move, so he's getting his steps in today. That's what happens when you say no reports here. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, next agenda item, please.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $931,001.86.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $1,395,197.80.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing and decreasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution establishing a fund to be known as hazard mitigation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Jason, did you want to chime in on that, sir?
Yes, Commissioners, this resolution is put forth by Finance Director Matus and Deputy EMA Director Busher. Basically, we've received a grant from the Ohio Emergency Management Agency for hazard mitigation efforts in the county in the tune of $50,000. And basically, what Director Matus is doing is following a state guidance from the auditor, just creating a new fund for this grant. So it's an accounting process. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good, sir. Further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think nope, that was it. Okay, that moves us on to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Randy, utilities.
No report today, Commissioner.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And County Administrator Jason Boyd.
morning once again. I just want to take a few minutes for our weekly update on the COVID-19 vaccination process, planning, and so on. Press release went out last night. I believe it went out last night, or will be going out, from the EMA, the Health District as the lead in Lake Health. We're starting to receive more doses finally. As you know, the Health District receives probably midweek, plus or minus, information on the number and manufacturer of vaccine doses that we'll receive. If you recall, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were in the 200, 300, 400 range, incrementally proceeding up the ladder, which is a good thing. Sounds like we may be getting in the thousands, 2, 3, 4,000 over the coming weeks, which is great. The Health District, Lake Health, and the EMA partnership remains strong. What's being considered is kind of a standardized days of the week testing program. Those are still being ironed out by the fire chiefs and the team to make it a more consistent. As you know, with two of the manufacturers, Moderna and Pfizer, there's dose 1 and then approximately 30-day window where dose 2 is, so it becomes a logistical planning effort. So the thought of standardizing those days will ease up on that. Furthermore, obviously beginning today, per the governor's press conference a couple of days ago, Phase 1C will begin to be eligible. Just briefly, those are child care services occupations, funeral services, law enforcement, and COs, which is important here in Lake County. And then those Ohioans over the age of 60 will be effective today. Once again, please contact and review the Lake County General Health District's website. That is the portal for all the information. And also, you'll see some information on the ArmorVax registration system, which we'll be migrating to receive the vaccine. I can't stress enough that the Health District and Lake Health are just one of multiple opportunities to get the vaccine. We have Giant Eagles, Discount Drug Marks, and a couple other vendors. All set information is on the website. So thank you.
Well said. And as part of the administrator's report, that's also the mandated COVID update. I always like to try to get some of the backstory of the things that go on behind the scenes. I was fortunate enough to be a part of the discussion with Lake County branch of NAACP, Painesville City, and our health district, as well as Lake Health this weekend, regarding outreach to our minority communities. The conversation was candid, and it was most effective. During that discussion, we talked about modeling of how best to get to our hard-to-reach community, and the model that we were talking about had much to do with the model that we developed for our Complete Count Committee regarding census. Very proud to say that literally that meeting took place on Saturday. Come Monday, I got a call from the Health District that they had put out over 10,000 phone calls trying to fill a event that they were having in Perry, and that there were between 200 and 300 vaccinations that were unfilled. So we implemented the same efforts that we did back in the day as far as our Complete Count Committee model. We did our community outreach, but the key addition and something that we learned during that was to use technology. And you'd mentioned ArmorVax, and I'm very proud to say ArmorVax is a software application for a phone, be it a laptop, desktop, in person. Very flexible piece of technology that was pressed into service, and in less than 24 hours, those vaccination appointments were all made. But like a good infomercial, yes, there actually are good infomercials. Within 24 hours, there was a request to the ArmorVax team to say, hey, what about automatically scheduling the next appointment rather than going through the machinations of trying to get back in for that second dose? In less than 24 hours, that feature was fully activated. It was in the background, but some agencies chose to have it, some did not. Lake County Health District, I believe, made the right call by activating that. Again, it's a small company that really has stepped up. It's RB Sigma, which has now their RB Medical division. Amazing. They're right here in Menor. And I have to tell you, ArmorVax is really proving to be that technological game changer. Jason, did you want to add to any of that there?
No, that's it seems to be an efficient tool, as we begin to ramp up the doses that we have. A lot less paperwork too.
Agreed. And as I'm always saying, registration does not equal vaccination. But when you have to make 10,000 calls trying to fill, I believe there was a total of 500 slots. They were able to do about half with 10,000 calls. Not exactly the most efficient. The public they got to work with us. I will tell you, I talked to a few people over the last few days who got the messages and said, oh, yeah, it just wasn't convenient, or really, I thought I could get back. Folks, if you're going to take this seriously and you're registering in multiple locations, there is a responsibility to the public also, or by the public. We are doing all that we can do, but the other question that seems to keep coming up and doesn't seem to be getting answered to the public satisfaction, the drug manufacturers are shipping to the drug distributors, the pharmacies. Those distributions are not a part of the governmental side of things. It's not going through, it's not under the care, custody, and control of the health district. It's not under Lake Health, Cleveland Clinic, university hospitals, none of that. It's totally independent. So signing up with one does not automatically mean that you're going to get shepherded or steered to another. So there does need to be a degree of diligence on the part of the public. And again, I have to emphasize, 10,000 calls just to even try to put a dent in 500. That's a little unsettling. So, Jason, I believe that's a typical concern that we're starting to see.
Yeah, we, with the partnership with the health district and the database that they have, and then downloaded data to our EMA for reverse 911s, we're trying to be overly diligent and duplicative to make sure we don't miss folks. So we have called people a number of times. We feel obligated to continue that call, but if they have indeed received the vaccination elsewhere, it would help us out a little bit if they would call and say, take me off the list, and we can start to do a little data dumping, if you will, and streamline the process. But the ArmorVax is and will continue to be a good tool moving forward. But, all that being said, we're doing a heck of a job. I sat in on some meetings with some community leaders and fire personnel who this is what they do, planning logistics, and it was quite impressive. So thank you.
And just again to echo and amplify that, high praise to our fire chiefs, who this is what they do for a living, our firefighters and their team, the paramedics, the nursing staff that's out there. It's absolutely incredible. And that's one of the things that we've been working very hard on, is to be scalable. And I hate to belabor this, but if you could just talk about the scalability. I know you were at a recent meeting with our emergency management agency.
Yeah, we're looking at, with the leadership of the district and the fire chiefs, a 30, 60-day window of what's coming. Common sense would say that, the vaccines are going to continue to increase. So the discussion was, if we get 3,000 next week, let's be prepared to be able to administer 6,000 in the next 30 to 40 days. So they've identified various pods throughout eastern, western, and central Lake County. They found that they're much more cost-effective and personnel efficient on the walk-in pods. We've identified
point of dispensing.
Point of dispensing. Thank you, Commissioner. We still have the capability to stand up a couple drive-through facilities, should that be warranted. But we're a month into this now, and when you do, Commissioner, the term a hot wash after an event. You look at staffing, you look at costs, you look at logistics, and these walk-in points of dispensing. There's one in Willoughby Hills yesterday. Are working really, really well, but they are manpower intensive, and so kudos to those folks who are standing outside directing traffic, to the folks who are putting shots in arms. It's a team effort. So thank you.
Well said, sir. Thank you. Further discussion on this, gentlemen? Thank you, Jason. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Yes, I wanted to mention that the next commissioners meeting is going to be on Thursday, March 11th at 10 a.m.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Okay, old business. Do we have any old business to come before this board? None being heard. Moving on to new business. Do we have any new business? Okay, well, I'm gonna sneak a simple one here. I'm gonna be blunt with the weather finally breaking. I want to say thank you and well done to our county engineer Jim Gills and his team for their efforts in keeping our roads clear and safe. I must say that this has been done in conjunction with other local departments as well as the Ohio Department of Transportation. They've been able to minimize disruptions and allow life to function normally during these past several weeks of snowstorms and just general snow and ice conditions. So I think their efforts sometimes go unnoticed, but I thought it was well worth investing a few moments to say thank you. So with that, if there's no other new business to come before the board, this moves on to our second public comment portion. If we have anyone in the audience who wishes, is there anybody in the audience wishing to, of course I'm teasing you. Go right ahead. Come on up, sir.
Listening to Mr. Boyd reminded me that I wanted to tell the commissioners and the public that we're big supporters of Ron Graham and the Lake County Health Department. We met with Mr. Graham with the idea. We said, how can we, as lobbyists for citizens, how can we help you so that you can help us? And we are providing a platform for Mr. Graham that he will be sending us public service announcements, so we will post that so that everyone can know. It's just another approach of what we think we can do to help the community. I wanted to say that Mr. Graham wanted us to tell everyone that if there is a business in Lake County that has received a citation for stopping, they have never issued any citation to any business in Lake County. If anyone receives a citation, it's either from the state, workers' comp, or some other organization. It also is very important that our business owners realize or recognize that if someone comes into their establishment, they have the right to ask for identification, and if identification seems to be suspect, to ask for a phone number so that that establishment can call to verify who the person is that's coming into the establishment. Again, I would like to publicly thank Ron Graham for working with the Liberty Camp. It was Geauga, but they have moved into Lake County. And Mr. Graham was instrumental in working with the Metro Parks to allow that organization to offer these services to the children this year. So, again, kudos to Ron Graham. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And for those who may not be familiar with your organization, Lobbyists for Citizens, I believe you would be considered a recognized media source on a local level. So I thank you for your diligence and your efforts, and thank you for your kind words to our Lake County General Health District. Okay, if there's, let's see, Jason, do we have any additional electronic submissions for public comment? Jason Boyd, County Administrator, indicating none. Thank you, sir. Okay, this brings us to the conclusion of today's meeting. We do have a request for executive session. The purposes will be personnel discipline and personnel compensation. There will be no business to be conducted afterwards. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that. Do we have any discussion on the subject? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young. Commissioner Young.
Commissioner Young, can you hear her? Ron? Legal?
In this age of COVID and virtual meetings, I think it's sufficient to move forward if we have 2 votes for discussion.
Thank you. Commissioner Young, last call. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, Commissioner Young.
Okay. Okay. Madam Clerk has a question before you, sir. One more time, Madam Clerk.
Oh, Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. And thank you, Legal. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. Thank you all.